But anyway, Capital and Olympia both look pretty good in that game. So I think Olympia's a contender, I think Capital's a contender. And then in the 2A league, my early season comment was that Tumwater has a real good chance to repeat. And I think that's going to be tougher than maybe I was thinking it would. Olympia sort of exposed the fact that Tumwater is not real quick. And that Tumwater also really misses its state player of the year, Kyle Warner. If you ever follow high school football, though it's a team game, it's really hard to understand how one kid can make a huge difference on it. One guy can make so much of a difference. Usually that's not the case, but when you have somebody like Warner who returned their punts, many of them for touchdowns, returned their kickoffs, was an all-league player as a defensive back, scored 32 touchdowns, was a backup quarterback, ran their offense in the spread formation, was a running back, a wide receiver, and state 2A player of the year. A pretty good kid, and you could really tell that Tumwater hasn't found 4 or 5 guys yet to replace him when they played Olympia. And their best running back got hurt in that game too. But then they turned around against a AAA team in Yelm and beat them 57-7 last Friday. So I think the T-Birds are a little ticked off at losing their first game. But they're going to have a battle on their hands. Chehalis is the team that they play Friday night at Tumwater. And Chehalis won its first 2 games overwhelmingly. And they're a real good football team. Extremely well coached by Bob Wolin. And they have some really good talented athletes on their team. And they and Tumwater play Friday. We're going to broadcast that game, and it will be a good one. This is also the 50th year of Tumwater High School's anniversary of being a new school. And the night of the 16th is the start of a weekend at Tumwater High School where they're going to be doing a lot of special things. And so they're hoping to have the stands packed with T-Bird crazies to really make Chehalis nervous. But that's going to be a good game. It's interesting, I go down to the Valley Athletic Club most mornings and work out a little bit, and need to. And on Sunday mornings, there's a young man that always comes by with a plastic water jug and stops and gives you a little water if you want it and says hi and everything. And I tip to the fact that this guy his name's Mitch Guller. His mother played basketball at St. Martin's University. She's from Hoquiam, and I broadcast games that Carrie Thompson her name was in. And I found out Mitch was her daughter, but what's really interesting is Mitch is Chehalis' quarterback. And he's also a great baseball player and a tremendous basketball player. So I visit with this kid on Sundays. And, I really want Tumwater to win that game. I live in Tumwater, and it's a local school. But it's really hard to root against Mitch because he's really a nice kid. And he is the reason that Chehalis is pretty doggone good. And that's going to be an outstanding football game Friday night. The rest of the league, so Chehalis is pretty good. And then I was saying a couple of weeks ago that North Thurston had a really young line, a lot of sophomores, a lot of untested people, but that they had a chance to be pretty good because they have a 6'4" quarterback who's a terrific passer, and 3 or 4 kids who are outstanding receivers. Landon Rushton and Matt Reed have been starting for 3 years, and they're terrific. And they had their tight end back, and now they found a really good running back, and they put it on Shelton 69-6 the first game. And I know Shelton's not very good, but holy moly! And then last week they beat Timberline 26-19. And was throwing the ball very well. And North Thurston is dangerous. They can score a lot of points. They can spread you out and really, really throw passes, and they've got a good running back. And if they play any kind of decent defense, they're a threat to Tumwater and Chehalis both for maybe the top spot in the league. 3 of the teams in that league will move into the playoffs. And River Ridge, kind of the ones you wonder about sometimes, they're unbeaten. They won their first 2. I don't think the teams they played are great, Washington and Steilacoom. We broadcast the Steilacoom game, and they're a decent team. But anyway, River Ridge beat them, and they are a dangerous team too. They've got a couple of kids, the Camacho brothers, Elijah and I'm going to forget his first name for a minute, but these kids are really two good football players. But the guy that makes it happen for them is named Brad Wallace. And if you had nothing else to do on a Friday night when River Ridge is playing a game against North Thurston or playing somebody out at South Sound Stadium, and you just wanted to go watch a great athlete, it'd be worth going out and watching this kid. He's 5'10", he weighs 100 they listed him as 6 feet tall, and he's about 5'10" or 11. Weighs 185 pounds. He's a great baseball player. This will be his third year as a junior as a starter on both the football and basketball teams. He made All-State as a freshman in basketball at the state tournament. He can dunk with both hands. He may be 5'11". He's the son of Aaron Wallace, who was the guy from Toledo and used to play at Washington. This kid is a freak. I mean, he is really something, and a great football player. He plays defense and he plays receiver and running back, and he's terrific. The kids around here call him the Beast because he's such a phenomenal athlete. And you know, if you're a coach and you have a kid and you'll say to him, "Now we've got a play designed," and you run it, and if it's not working, cut your losses and take what you can get. Don't start running back and forth, because the more of that stuff you do, the further back you're going, and it's just going to get worse. And that's what you tell people, and then you can say, "Brad, except you do whatever you want." Friday night against Steilacoom, they got him the ball, and he ran around right end. He ran over to the sideline. There were about 4 guys there. He had nowhere to go, so he cuts back. He comes back. Now, that's across, so the field's 45 yards wide. He comes back like this, and he looks in the middle, and there's nothing there, and he keeps coming, and he's almost to the other sideline now. Starts down here, and there's a couple more people, and he goes back over here, and he starts zigzagging. The guy goes 67 yards for a touchdown, and hardly anybody touched him. He must have run 115 yards. If you ever heard me do a game, I'm not cool. I freak out. And man, I was out of my mind on that run, and then he made a better one later in the game. It was shorter, but it was just ridiculous that anybody could do what he was doing. And because they have him, because one kid can make so much impact in high school, Brad Wallace can make River Ridge a very tough team to deal with. Now, whether or not they're good enough to beat North Thurston or Chehalis or Tumwater, I'm not sure. But what I am sure is that I love to watch Brad Wallace play football. That guy is really good. And so and then the other school I should mention, and they're having a tough year, and it probably will be this year for Black Hills. Their turnout's kind of low, and almost everybody that was on their main roster graduated, and they have some kids back, and they're pretty well coached. But one thing about high school football, I mean, if you're outmanned, you're probably going to get beat. You don't get a lot of upsets in high school football. You do in the pros and in major college, where the talent is so much more even. But high school talent levels go up like this. It kind of depends. If you have a wave of really good athletes in your school, you might be up here, and then after a while you'll come down and back up. And Black Hills is kind of in a valley this year, I suspect, and they'll probably find it tough to win a couple of games. And my heart's with them, and I hope they find someone that they can beat so the kids will feel better about their season. But probably it'll be a tough year for them. So in a nutshell, it looks like Capital should be a playoff team. Olympia should be a playoff team. Tumwater in a battle for the league championship that could go to one of 3 or 4 teams. It'll be a very exciting high school football season, and we're doing a number of the games. It's a lot of fun, and I'd really encourage you, if you have an opportunity, to just go out and see a high school game sometime. Check out the atmosphere, watch the band, see the kids, the enthusiasm. They're not jaded yet, they're not the NFL people and the college all-stars. These are just kids in our town having fun, and it's really fun to be part of it. And I appreciate your attention very much, And I think quitting time's in about 2 minutes. If that's correct, I can take a question or two, and then I'll let them give me the hook. Yeah?
Who's going to win the apple cut?
Pardon?
Who's going to win the apple cut?
That's a good question.
Well, that's an easy call. I know.
I think Washington.
Yes.
I think the Cougars really can score a lot of points, and the Huskies obviously haven't figured out what the forward pass is yet, at least as far as defending it goes. But when you get to the Apple Cup, where are they playing it this year? In Seattle? Yeah, I think maybe the Huskies will win. Sorry, that game is really, really difficult. I just want one of them to beat the Ducks. I don't care. I'm really sick of those guys and their illegal recruiting and their Nike swoosh and all that stuff. Actually, what this really comes down to is nothing more than jealousy on my part. Let's come on, I'll admit it, but I still don't like them. Anyway, anything else? Thank you very much.
Very thorough as always, somebody. We have a token here for you.
Oh, thank you.
And your last duty here is to pick a winning number.
Can I have Carolee, my wife, do it?
Yep.
Carolee, my wife, the honest Nichols.
You just go ahead and okay. Let's see that. The last three are 628. 628.